1951. Mount Everest. Eric Shipton kneels in the snow at 18,000 feet. He's a mountaineer. He's climbed Everest, explored Karakoram, mapped blank spaces on the globe. He's photographing a footprint, 13 inches long, clear toe impressions, a ridge of displaced snow along the edge suggesting weight and movement. The print is fresh, hours old, maybe less. Shipton places his ice axe beside it for scale, takes multiple photographs from different angles. He knows what bear tracks look like, what snow leopard looks like, what human prints look like in crampons or boots. This is something else. The photograph goes global within weeks. The question isn't whether something made that print. Something did. The question is, who left them? The reports. The Himalayas. 1,500 miles of peaks stretching across Nepal, Tibet, Bhutan, India. Elevations above 20,000 feet. Permanent ice. Thin air. Terrain so hostile it kills trained climbers regularly. The Sherpa people have lived in these mountains for centuries. They know every animal in their territory. Blue sheep, snow leopard, Himalayan tahr, black bear, brown bear, and something they call Yeti, the rock bear or man bear. Not metaphorical, literal. The descriptions stay consistent across valleys separated by mountain ranges. Bipedal, 6 to 8 feet tall, covered in reddish-brown or dark hair, ape-like face, broad shoulders, long arms, walks upright, avoids humans, lives above tree line where nothing else that size exists. The Sherpa don't romanticize it, don't worship it. They treat it the way they treat other wildlife, with respect and distance. It's just there, part of the ecosystem. The monastery evidence. Pangbosh Monastery, eastern Nepal. For centuries, monks preserved what they claimed was a Yeti scalp. Conical, reddish fur, displayed during ceremonies. In 1960, Mountaineer Sir Edmund Hillary obtained samples. Analysis at institutions in Paris, London, and Chicago reached the same conclusion. Siro, a Himalayan goat antelope. The scalp was manufactured from stretched hide. Case closed, except the monks also possessed what they claimed was a Yeti hand. Mummified, skeletal, large. In 1958, actor James Stewart smuggled bone fragments to London in his wife's luggage for testing. The results were inconclusive but suggested primate origin. The complete hand disappeared from the monastery in 1991. Stolen. Its current location unknown. We have photographs, measurements, conflicting analyses. What we don't have is the actual specimen. The climbing encounters. 1925. Greek photographer N.A. Tambatsi observes a figure at 15,000 feet in Sikkim. His account is measured, professional. Unquestionably, the figure in outline was exactly like a human being, walking upright and stopping occasionally to pull at some dwarf rhododendron bushes. It showed up dark against the snow and, as far as I could make out, wore no clothes. The figure moved across a snowfield for several minutes before disappearing into a ravine. When Tambatsi reached the location, he found footprints. Similar to human, larger, barefoot at 15,000 feet. 1970. British mountaineer Don Willans camps on Annapurna. At dusk, he observes a dark bipedal figure moving across a distant snowfield. Methodical, purposeful. Through binoculars, he watches it for several minutes before darkness obscures the view. Willans was an experienced climber. He'd seen bears, knew how they moved. This walked differently, upright, constant. 1986. British climber Reinhold Messner, first person to summit Everest without oxygen. First to climb all 14 8,000-meter peaks. Encounters something near the Nepal-Tibet border. Large, dark, bipedal, 50 meters away in twilight. Messner later wrote a book suggesting the Yeti is actually the Tibetan blue bear, a rare subspecies. He became convinced after research and subsequent sightings. But his 1986 encounter? His immediate reaction was shock, confusion, something he couldn't readily identify. The scientific expeditions. 1954. London's Daily Mail funds an expedition specifically to find evidence. Mountaineers explore the Everest region for months. They return with hair samples, fecal matter, photographs of tracks, analysis of the hair, unknown primate or possibly bear. Inconclusive. The expedition finds no definitive proof but doesn't return claiming hoax or misidentification either. Just uncertainty. 1960. Sir Edmund Hillary leads an expedition funded by World Book Encyclopedia. More scientific rigor, more equipment. They collect the Pangboche scalp samples. Interview Sherpa witnesses. Search high-altitude regions. Hillary concludes the Yeti is likely mythology combined with bear sightings. But the Sherpa guides on his own expedition disagree with his conclusion. Politely, firmly, they know bears. This isn't that. 2008. Japanese climbers capture thermal footage in the Himalayas. Bipedal heat signature moving across a ridge at high altitude. The footage is analyzed, enhanced, debated. Could be human, could be bear on hind legs, could be something else. Nobody can definitively say. The DNA studies. 2014. Oxford geneticist Brian Sykes publishes results from analyzing 30 hair samples attributed to Yeti, Bigfoot, wild man from various locations. Most samples, known animals. Bears, horses, cows, humans. 2 samples from the Himalayas. Genetic match to an ancient polar bear jawbone from Svalbard, Norway. 40,000 years old. Sykes suggests a hybrid bear species, part brown bear, part ancient polar bear, survives in the Himalayas. Rare, unrecognized, possibly bipedal at times. Not a Yeti, but not a known species either. 2017. More comprehensive DNA analysis of 9 samples. Results published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society. 8 samples. Himalayan brown bear, Tibetan brown bear, Asian black bear, or other known species. 1 sample. Himalayan brown bear, but from a population with unusual genetic markers. The studies narrow possibilities but don't eliminate mystery. If witnesses saw rare bear subspecies in unusual postures, that explains some sightings. But does it explain all of them? The explanations that leave gaps. Misidentified bears. Himalayan brown bears and Tibetan blue bears exist at high altitudes. Both can walk bipedally for short distances. From a distance, in poor light, this could resemble an upright ape. But the Sherpa live with these bears, hunt them occasionally, distinguish them from Yeti without hesitation. When shown photographs, they identify bears as bears, Yeti as something else, human hermits or ascetics. The Himalayas have religious hermits living in extreme isolation, covered in hair from years without grooming, walking barefoot in snow. Possible for some sightings, but at 18,000 feet, where oxygen deprivation kills, where no food grows. Langur monkeys, large primates that inhabit lower Himalayan forests, shaggy fur, can appear human-like at a distance. Except Yeti sightings consistently occur above the tree line, far beyond langur habitat. And langurs are quadrupedal, not bipedal. Cultural mythology. Perhaps Yeti is folklore, religious allegory, mistranslation. Except the Sherpa distinguish between their mythological creatures and this one. They have legends, they have spirits, they have deities. Yeti isn't presented as any of those. It's wildlife, rare wildlife that avoids humans. The problem of the place. The Himalayas remain incompletely surveyed. Valleys where humans rarely venture. Elevations where permanent habitation is impossible. In 2005, scientists discovered the Himalayan wolf, a distinct subspecies, through DNA analysis. It had been there all along, misidentified as common wolves. The Tibetan blue bear was thought extinct until camera traps captured footage in the 1990s. Population unknown. Habitat largely unmapped. If rare bear species can evade detection for decades, what else might exist in limited numbers at extreme altitudes? What remains? The footprints continue. 2007, 2011, 2019. Photographs emerge. Thermal footage. Track casts. Each analyzed. Each debated. None conclusive. The Sherpa still report sightings. still differentiate between bears and Yeti, still treat it as rare but real. We have witness testimony spanning centuries. We have physical evidence that suggests unknown bear populations. We have DNA pointing toward species we haven't fully cataloged. What we don't have is a body, a skeleton, a living specimen, proof that satisfies scientific certainty. The Yeti exists in the space between what people observe and what we can verify. The Himalayas still hold valleys where humans don't go, altitudes where survival is measured in hours, terrain where even modern technology struggles. If something wanted to remain hidden, that's where you'd do it. The mountains keep their secrets. What walks above the tree line? What leaves those tracks in the snow? We don't know. Not yet. The story doesn't end here. For more mysteries, join us and subscribe to Beyond the Myth.